One of our fans highlighted the story to us, and I thought it was really important and wanted to bring the voice here. So rapper P. Diddy, he was in a live stream with Naomi Campbell, I believe for her YouTube show, and he talked about the Democratic Party taking the black vote for granted, particularly with respect to Vice President Biden. He said he's even willing to hold his vote, quote, hostage. Let's take a listen to what he said.
In order for us to vote for Biden, we can't be taken for granted like we always are because we're supposed to be Democrats or because people are afraid of Trump. It's whoever's going to take care of our community, whoever wants to make a deal. It's business at this point. You know, we can't trust politicians, you know, so we want to know very clearly, just like Trump made it clear that he wanted to build a wall, Biden needs to make it clear that he's going to change the lives and quality of life of black and brown people, or else he can't get the vote. I will hold the vote hostage if I have to.
That's quite a statement.
Hold the vote hostage if I have to. P. Diddy willing to go further than Bernie Sanders, than most
AOC
people on the left. I mean, really, that is a radical statement in today's sort of hyper-partisan politics. But I think a lot of people feel that way, of basically like, you're always going to tell us, we'll get you next time around. Next time around, we're going to focus on this time. We just have to beat the opponent because the opponent is so bad, whether that's Donald Trump or Mitt Romney and George W. Bush. And next time around, whoever it is that we have to beat is going, well, they're so bad. Like, you have to toe the line. You have to vote for this guy. And the sentiment there is like, no, actually, I don't. And I'm not convinced that doing that is ultimately in the best interest of my community, because it never has been in the past. Because every time we just go along and accept the scraps that you're willing to give us, you think that we're going to do that next time around. And so we only ever end up with scraps. It's interesting, a feminist writer in New York Magazine made a very similar point. And she said, if we, and this was with regard to the sexual assault allegations, like, what we will be told is we have to go along with this, and what we'll end up with is scraps for ourselves, for our daughters, that continue to leave us hungry. And we should be comfortable challenging power. I mean, it's essentially the same message here. Pretty wild to hear him articulate it,
Yeah,
though.
no, but, you know, it's not that wild because that's how a normal person thinks. What did he say? This is business. It's like a business transaction, which is, I'm not going to just, you can't just keep promising something and under not deliver.
Or not even promise anything.
What you want, or not even promise anything.
Yeah.
He's not in politics, whereas AOC, Bernie Sanders, don't have to deal with the political ramifications of this. He's like, no, maybe I'll hold my vote hostage, which that's how you negotiate. That's how you actually get what you want in this country, in business, in every other sector, except Democratic and Republican Party politics. Then you have to vote the line, the party line, or you deviate. You're a traitor. You're helping the other side. Nobody else in any other industry or any other sector of American life thinks that way. And so when a prominent person like this says something, you know that this is a bigger story. And this is something that I had highlighted here in the past, the USA Suffolk Today poll. 1 in 4 black voters say recently they are undecided or would vote for a third-party candidate, not Joe Biden. He has some very low support, even in the African-American community, which elevated him to the Democratic nominee. Well, it's another thing that we covered, that amongst the Latino voters, that he does not have, less than half say that they're definitively going to vote for him. And actually, well, as we covered with, I think it was an Equus research analysis with Chuck Rocha, which is that of the people who are pro-Sanders, anti-Biden Hispanic voters, the most of them live in battleground states. The highest percentage of them live in Wisconsin. Anyone want to tell me if Wisconsin is a very important place? Arizona, which right now is right on the precipice of a battleground state or not. I mean, we can go all the way down like Pennsylvania. Chuck Rocha understands this very well. That's how they won the Iowa caucuses. This is, again, it's a big blind spot for Biden. As we've seen with Nate Cohn, Trump is making inroads with non-white voters. And I think it's explicitly because of Democratic Party politics, of Biden, and just the realignment over the suburban white #resistance crowd over the last 4 years.
Yeah, look, if you accept scraps and lip service, you're going to get more scraps and lip service. And at a certain point, you have to say, no, I don't accept it. And the only way to actually wield that power, as we've talked about here, the entire Democratic Party's political strategy, and this is their greatest innovation over the past 30 years, it's not policy, it's not principles, it's this political strategy of telling the left, and especially the economic populist left, basically screw you. That's the innovation, and assuming that you're gonna have to show up anyway. And much as you may not be happy about it, you're gonna have to toe the line because the opposition is so much worse.
Yeah.
A lot of voters are taking a hard look at how that strategy has worked out for them and their communities and their lives. And I think P. Diddy is effectively echoing some of those sentiments that we hear here on this show quite often.
Oh, yeah, all the time. All right, tomorrow on Rising, we're going to have another great show for all of you. And as we continue to follow the Tara Reade developments here.
And we are going to discuss why the Michael Moore documentary is stirring up a lot of controversy around green energy. We've got a leading opponent of the film that we talked to Michael about earlier this week on the show. You don't want to miss that conversation. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also send in any burning questions that you have for us with the hashtag RisingQs. We always love to hear from you guys. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.